Hello, it's Tyler, and this is going to be the first part in a series of, I guess, what you would call sort of an MMO extravaganza. No, not really. Okay, more like 3 or 4 videos on some recent free-to-play MMOs. Now, the MMO market is getting a little saturated right now with the new style of action-y MMO. That can get a little confusing for a lot of people because MMOs are not something that you can take lightly to try, because obviously in order to get the proper experience out of an MMO, well, that requires a lot of time. So these videos are going to be Librascopes basically masquerading as guides, talking about just a general overview of low to mid-ish level content, like my experience up to this point in these games, and hopefully, after listening to my opinion, maybe you can decide for yourself whether or not you think the game is worth trying. Kitty! 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 Meow! Kitty! I want to pet you. Slash pet. It doesn't do anything. Alright. Well, today we are looking at Tera. Yes, Tera. Tera Online. It launched fairly successfully, and actually people weren't sure if it was going to go free to play or not, because it was actually it was doing all right. But here we are. It did go free to play eventually in the form of Tera Rising. Not terrorizing, Tera Rising. Yes. I have mail. A bunch of mail. And some... Where's the banker guy? Anyway, well, I'm going to check my mail. Very important, clearly. This is a game that was hyped up as having a really fun action-y combat system, unique world, questing, just lots of quests, lots of places to explore, and not being super easy. This is one of the first sort of big names in the newer generation of MMOs, just right alongside Guild Wars 2. That was the, that was the sort of thing. Oh, I had some expired listings. That's okay. I can get a lot of these back and probably put them back up on the house. Why did I sell that? I don't remember putting that up there. Whatever, we'll just pretend that is normal. I have about 380 golden items up there right now. Someone buy my stuff! Alright. So, one of the first things to address about these videos is that they're probably going to be fairly long compared to some of my other videos. We're talking like 40 minutes to an hour maybe, because there's a lot to cover for an MMO. I'm going to be doing a kind of exhaustive list, just going down the line of a lot of the things that people want to know about. I cannot give you end-game content on any of these MMOs because I do not have the time to get there right now, and we all know that can take a while. If at some point I do get the time to do that for something, well, I definitely will. But that's gonna be difficult. So, Tera. Lots of races and lots of classes to choose for all sorts of things. The races are interesting, to say the least. The classes are different. I'm a sorcerer, which means I use magic. I tend to play a mage or spell sword type of class in a lot of things I do, so I decided upon the sorcerer. The slayer is fairly interesting, uses large two-handed weapons, basically like a barbarian. The lancer is neat, uses a shield and a lance, clearly. It's your dragoon. There are lots. I chose sorcerer. Basically I'm a DPS, and I set things on fire, freeze things, or otherwise blow them up with arcane energies. And I'm pretty good at that. The magic instructor here, I'll just go to them for a second so you can see some of the skills that the sorcerer can get a hold of. I really want to get to level 26 for that fire blast. But as you can see, the skills have multiple ranks. Like, I already have Flame Pillar. I have rank 4 in it. So at level 26, I'll be able to get rank 5 in it, which will increase the base damage actually by a really significant amount. It's 96 right now, and that puts up to 140. Without increasing the cooldown or the MP cost. That's actually huge because it hits multiple times. Flame Pillar looks like this. And it actually pulses like 5 or 6 times, so that damage is applied a lot. So that's a big increase. Okay, let me summon up my horsey. Get on my horse. There we go, magically appeared out of nowhere. And the first thing you'll probably notice about Tera is that it's beautiful. It is a very pretty game. Graphically, it's impressive. I mean, MMOs aren't known for being super graphically impressive because they have to be able to run on a lot of systems. That's just by a very definition of an MMO. It has to be accessible to a lot of people. Because, I mean, you know, MMOs, they need a big community. So one of the first things that goes for that accessibility is the appearance of a game. I'm running this, everything maxed out, and as you can see, it's actually quite nice, and it runs fairly well. While recording, I'm getting about 30 FPS, about 30 to 40, but normally I get about 60 to 80, so that's pretty good. It's definitely well optimized from what I can tell. I haven't really had any super massive hits and problems or anything like that when I'm not recording. When I am recording, places with a lot of people and things like that do tank the frame rate a bit, but it's not near as noticeable when, you know, I don't have that drain on my system, so that's not something that the majority of people are going to have to worry about, so I wouldn't say that's a problem, really. This is Lumbertown. Lumbertown is sort of one of the zones that you'll be very acquainted with. It is one of the earlier areas, I won't say the first, one of the earlier areas you'll go to is sort of a questing hub. It's not the main town. The main town is Velica. It's actually very pretty. I might show you that at the end of the video. What the heck just happened there? Alright, we're going to go ahead and head out. Maybe I can show you a bit of some questing. I'm going to go actually towards the Valley of Titans, because that is a higher level area. I'm level 24 right now, as you can see on the top left. And, also, you might be able to tell that my stats are larger than their current maximums, which is interesting to say the least. That little heart with the number 120 in it. Oh, my FPS just went up to about 60 to 70 here. That little heart is called your stamina. That is one of the... This game has a ton of systems in it, so that's what a lot of this video is going to be, explaining the systems. It's got a ton. It's fairly strange. So go to the Celestial Hills area. But what we're really talking about here is... stamina is sort of like your adventuring... well, it's stamina. I have abundant stamina right now. 120% is the normal cap, but that can be increased with passives. Like, if you do a lot of gathering, you'll get, like, 10 to 30 minute passives that increase this to about 135% max. When you stand next to campfires, you regain stamina. Fairly interesting. And what happens is, the more stamina you have, you can actually increase your HP and MP above their normal limits. So that's pretty cool. And as you adventure and stay away from campfires and fights and do dungeons and things like that, your stamina slowly goes down. And when it gets to 100%, then your stats are at their normal maximum. And they'll actually decrease below their normal maximum once it starts getting lower. You get to like 50% and your effectiveness in combat is decreased significantly. So that's something to be aware of. Now let's demonstrate something right here about the combat of this game. This is awesome. Alright, I'm going to pull that group of people. These are level 22, so they're only 2 levels below me. So this isn't like I'm in a super low level area. Do my teleport over here, grab this group of mobs. Let's grab one more. I'm going to pull all of these mobs and just show you how satisfying it is to just slaughter every single one of them. Alright, I've pulled 4 or 5 groups of these mobs, and I should be able to handle them. This is not something you can do in a lot of MMOs. This makes you feel super powerful, and it's amazing. I'm just going to throw some fireballs into the midst of these guys and utterly destroy all of them, and not take a lot of damage in the process. Comparatively speaking, of course. Alright, so I can just take these guys out really easily without much effort at all. And, yeah, I just slaughtered like 1,000,000 dudes. That's pretty cool. The combat in this game is very satisfying. So let's just do a little more of that. Combat! I can throw fireballs, I can throw icicles, I can do a big sort of acidic burst that does damage over time, but it also kills things outright fairly easily. Might not be the best mobs to test it against. I have a really cool teleport jaunt thing that I can use right there. there are some attacks that you can actually target multiple enemies with. That's pretty cool. And just otherwise, I am a destroyer of worlds. There we go. Right. Now, for the bigger dudes, you can combo things. This is less relevant for a sorcerer and, say, a mystic, but it's still very relevant. The combo system goes like this. You use an ability, and if you hit someone with it successfully, a prompt will pop up there, spacebar. You press space and it uses the other ability in a combo. If you have multiple abilities linked up in a line for that combo, say I had something that comboed off of Magma Bomb, I could then press space again and do another one. This is why it's less relevant for a sorcerer, because a lot of their spells kind of stand alone. If you're, say, a melee-centric class, you'll be comboing together all of your different melee attacks and things like that. So that's pretty cool. I can go into battle and have you set these up yourself. They're set up automatically when you get abilities, but you can also change the ones that are set up automatically and set up your own. So I can do all of these different things with my abilities and have them, essentially, instead of mashing buttons, I can activate one skill and then have the other skills chain off of it in various ways, which may make sense depending on which skills I'm using. So, for example, if I'm using some sort of ability that may lower their resistance to another element or something, then I'll want to chain an attack that holds that element afterwards. You get the idea. You can chain them in different ways that make sense. The Magma Bomb is chained after that because it slows their movement, so I can also often get a group of them sort of together and then Magma Bomb them after I hit them with that crazy icicle there. Alright, pick up some monies. Also, there's a gigantic glyph around the sun. I have no idea why, but I like it a lot, and I kind of want one. Alright. I'm going to go farther down here while explaining more. The skills, there are lots of skills, right? Lots of skills. Let me set myself on auto run here. There we go. Lots of skills. These are all the skills that I have right now as a level 24 sorcerer. Let's not do that. As a level 24 sorcerer, I'm not using all of them at this particular point. Also, you don't have to have them all on your bar, because they don't have to be on your bar to be in a skill chain. So if I wanted to, say, chain Time Gyre, which pauses someone in time off of a different ability, I could still use it without actually having it on my bar. I just use that other ability first, press spacebar, bam. So yeah, even at this level I've got a lot of abilities to choose from, and they're all fairly unique. There aren't really any that overwrite others as far as I can tell. Like, these are all useful in different ways, and the only ones I'm not using are just because I don't personally find they fit with my playstyle. Like, say, Mines, basically is what this is. It's a trap. I don't really find that fits to the way I play very much, so it's not a big deal for me to take. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage as opposed to the other abilities I can use, so I don't use it personally, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't use it. These things are very difficult. These Nagas. They're quite evil, and also you can see when you hover over them, they have those 2 extra heads, which is kind of cool. But these things are really hard to kill, and it's very unlikely that I would actually be able to solo them. That's what that skull means. It means they're a party monster. And these Kumas, these are the same way. I've almost killed one of those solo before, but I highly doubt I can actually do it. I'm not willing to try right now. Let's gather some essence. Alright. So as you can see, just doing that gave me a passive. So I have Gathering Spirit, which gives me a little extra MP regeneration, and these will stack, so as I gather more of those types of nodes, the essence types of nodes, then, you know, I can do that. These people are fighting Kumas, but they pulled 2 of them, which I have to say is a fairly bad idea. So I'll see what I can do to help. If they want. I mean, I don't really get anything because I'm not in their party, but that's actually not a good idea. You know what? I'm just gonna GTFO at this place as soon as I get out of battle. Let's also not walk into the paths of the Nagas. This particular small area is somewhat dangerous because of the prevalence of these two types of party monsters that are actually quite dangerous. So we're just gonna get out of here. The questing, I've got to say, is one of the parts that I don't like about this game. The questing is essentially WoW questing. It is very much leads you through a zone. You talk to people, they give you the whole collect 10 bear asses thing, and you go rip some asses off some bears, and then you give them to them, and you move on to the next group of quests that take you to another zone that all involve the monsters within that zone, and so on. If you've played World of Warcraft or EverQuest or things like that, then you're very much aware of that kind of questing. So the questing, in my opinion, is the worst part of the game. It's less than fun. I mean, it's not innovative in any way. Like, the combat system is. The dungeons are actually fairly interesting because they're rock hard, in my opinion, from the start. Even the lowest level one, which I have the Bastion of Locke right now, it's available at level 20, is pretty difficult. I haven't actually beaten it yet. All of these quests you see are actually in the Bastion. I've only been in there once myself. I can't solo it. I knew I couldn't solo it. I just wanted to hop in there for a second to see what it was like, because there's no way I can solo a level 20 dungeon at level 24. But I just wanted to hop in and see what it was like really quick. Yeah, it's pretty hard. But the boss fights are interesting, and as you may have seen, at least, as I was killing those enemies back there, they have tells. They pull back and, you know, get ready to beat the crap out of you and things like that. You can see what they're doing, sort of, before they do it, which is pretty cool. Oh wow, I found Velica. I didn't even know you could get to it from here. What is that symbol? A cleric. Oh wow, I can actually get back to Velica from here. I might do that and then fly to some other place and quest there, because I have some quests to turn in. Well, normally you get here by Griffin Ride, which is basically the equivalent of a flight point, but alright, we're just gonna head there while talking, because that's exciting. Now, the way the combat works is pretty satisfying. It's very responsive. You know, you press the buttons and the abilities go off very quickly. It's satisfying because of how sort of meaty the combat feels. Like, there's impact to it. Even as a sorcerer, you know, I'm not swinging around a giant sword killing people. What, some sort of Abby or something? But I still get a lot of a feeling of strength when I go and smack things about, which is good. I mean, it's awesome to feel like that. Also, as far as the monster design goes, because that's another very important part of the combat, it's pretty cool. It's fairly unique. The world is fairly unique. Yeah, the races are pretty interesting. The armor designs and things like that, some of them are neat, but of course, everybody knows, since it's an Asian MMO, the female armor designs are needlessly exploitative. Basically, the larger your boobs are, the higher your attack stat is, and the more skin you can show, the higher your defense stat is. So, you know, that's all Asian MMOs, though, and the males are pretty much just as bad. The Ellen are in this game, which are those creepy little girl-like things. Of course, the lore says, oh, they're not little girls, they're actually hundreds of years. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They look like little girls. Shut up. It's kind of annoying. They're a little disgraceful, and they kind of creep me out, but, I mean, you don't have to play one, so whatever. Getting past the whole Asian MMO syndrome, though, it's pretty freaking awesome. And here we are in Velica. This is sort of the main city, it seems like. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your off time. And one thing I'll say, to this game's credit, the interface is awesome. Let me just explain this for a second. So I can just press Alt anytime I want to bring this up. Now, obviously you've got your bars and everything, that's all normal. You can have the bars expanded or not, that doesn't matter. And, of course, you can add more bars and change all the stuff around. All of the keys are rebindable, all that good stuff, because it is a proper PC MMO. This little mini-map thing is pretty cool. Obviously, of course, you can also move all the elements around, resize them. I can make this go away if I find it annoying, but I find it really useful. And it shows me, you know, what everything is around me, whether it changes if I'm in a city, or I'm in an outdoor zone, even in a dungeon it changes. All of that. And my quests are here. I can minimize them even, and just drop them from right here. I can even hide the entire tracker if I want. The instance matching for battlegrounds and for dungeons is right here. So I can just click this and instantly queue. Also, for queuing, you get sort of extra rewards for completing them. So I've got the Bastion of Locke. My recommended item level is 33. I don't actually know my item level. It's probably like 12. Let's check that while we're at it. Gotcha. Alright, very cool. So, my character. I've got this different equipment. There's actually quite a bit of equipment, and the appearance is interesting. Like I said, some of the armor and weapon designs are actually pretty cool. Of course, some of them are very revealing and needlessly, well, annoyingly so, but it happens, I guess. There's actually a lot of equipment places that don't have sealed up yet, and there's also these. This gem system is, well, you buy the crystals, red ones slot into weapons, blue ones slot into armor, and green ones slot into high-level accessories. This is interesting. There are a lot of them. So, obviously, this one, if I knock someone down and then hit them, I hit them harder. This one, any sort of minion, like summoned or small enemy, like those little ones I was fighting, 5% extra damage to them. Just flat. It's awesome. For the armor, I've got this one, which just normal basic monsters just decrease damage. It's very useful. And this just increases my HP regeneration a bit, and that's awesome. I've also got another one in my inventory here. I can't equip it yet. I have to, I don't have armor that is actually of that level. But this will be really useful for dungeons because it decreases the damage taken from bosses. Especially for a sorcerer who, you know, I get aggro for a second and then I start getting pounded on. This helps a lot. I've also kept these other weapons that aren't as good as the ones I'm using because of this system right here. The enchanting system. This weapon cannot be enchanted, but there's another one I have my eye on that can. There'll be an enchantment system. You can drag an item in here. You then use this stuff called Alkahest, which is basically like a reagent, and another, like other weapons of that type or armors of that type. The number and grade of Alkahest and other items and stuff depends on sort of the rating of the thing you're enchanting. Then you enchant it and it gives it, you know, a +1 or +2 all the way up to like +12, maybe even higher than that. Like, I don't even remember, but it goes up pretty high. And it's cool because actually they get like a glowy effect of different colors and things like that the higher you enchant them. But also, as well as just a base increase in the stats of the weapon across the board, it also increases the, well, it's almost like a set bonus. It'll say like enchantment bonus on the weapon or the item. You then look at it and it says like +3. And that means if you enchant it to at least +3, then it gets this bonus. It'll say like +6. So once it gets up to +6, it'll have both of those bonuses. And it adds extra stuff to the weapon that it didn't otherwise have, which is cool. So it's more than just basic stat boosts. One other thing about the interface is that you can click these quests and it will highlight on the map what your goal is. So I can say this says report to Captain Samael. So if I click his name, it shows me he's right there. And also obviously Dougal is right there, so if I just hit Dougal, it'll highlight him. All of these different things, if I actually click this, it'll show me where it is in the dungeon. If I was actually in the dungeon, then it would, of course, highlight it. So, the interface is great. It's really smooth, it's really responsive, I have no problems with it whatsoever, and I think, just like Guild Wars 2, that's one of the game's very strong points for beginners, because it makes it so easy to just get into the game. Even if the game has a ton of complex systems, if everything is so easy to navigate and learn and understand, then, I mean, that increases enjoyment like tenfold. You know, battling a complex system and getting used to it is fine, and a lot of players are willing to do that. But fighting against the interface itself just to do what you want is a different story entirely, and a lot of players aren't okay with that, and really they shouldn't be, because, well, it's 2013, obtuse interfaces, horrible fonts and things like that. I mean, there's no need for that. I've been demounted in this area, of course, because it's kind of small and it would probably be pretty annoying. So I'm just going to talk to these people about these quests I completed like a million years ago. Circle the wagons. Da 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 da. Investigate source of disturbance. Take no chances. La 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 la. Okay. And what do you have to say? Indeed. Yes, sir. I like yes. So, oh, I just gotta talk to him again. Well, hello. I haven't seen you in a while. You been good? Yeah, I've been good too. We need leaders. We're ready for a commission. Hardly going. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Receive his award. Well, I'm right here. So do I just talk to him again? No. Would you like to give me that that reward right about now? That's a lot of experience and some nice shoes that are better than my seer stomper shoes, because I'm not stomping all the seers. Right. It's kind of cool. This talks to you about all the quests that you've done and things like that, and whenever you go into a zone, it will list the quests that are available in the zone, and you can actually click on them, and then, of course, tell you where to go and how to start them and things like that. Again, interface, awesome. Easier for new people all the way up to max level people. I believe max level in this game is 60 right now. It makes it easy. I mean, you want to play more when the interface helps you out. So that's awesome. Yes, but I'm supposed to get like a thing. I wish to receive your reward, Samael, which is the name of an... Oh, I have to go there. I could, of course, pay attention to the map, but I mean, why would you do that? That's just stupid. Alright, let's go out here. As you can see, through all this travel, my stamina has decreased, so my maximum stat bonus has also decreased. So, now that I can mount up, let's do that. I said now that I can mount up, let's do that. Now that I can mount up, let's do that. Hello, horsey. Alright. Another system, well, I will be explaining very briefly, because it's in the area that I'm going to, is the glyph system. This, the game does a good job with these systems of explaining them to you, because there are quests that explain them to you, and also it sprinkles them across the levels. Like, the mountain things, obviously you get at level 11. The combo system it explains very early on. The, oh geez, all the other stuff, the enchanting system, the crafting systems, all of that stuff. Hello, other Samael. And the glyph system is explained by a quest that you can get at level 20, because you don't actually gain access to glyphs until level 20, so I'll go into that in a moment. They're a very important part of the game. Essentially, you can say that they are the replacement, or this game's version of World of Warcraft talents, I believe is what they're called. And, Final Fantasy XI job traits and things like that. Let's start the ceremony for the Federation. Oh, it's a cutscene. There are cutscenes in the story quests. They actually look quite good. I'm just the bravest, I know. I try. Yes, my character looks like a pompous douchebag, I'm aware. It kind of sucks, but I kind of like the High Elf race. Their bonuses are neat. They look a little, little camp. No big deal. Can I have your armor? I guess it wouldn't be very good for a sorcerer, but can I have it anyway? It's better than this shirt. Doesn't really detract the fact that the game is definitely quite pretty, though. And now I talk to you. The asterisk is the turn in the quest here symbol. So I get some shoes, a crap ton of experience, and a cutscene. And then he magically disappears. Alright. Let's put those shoes on. Yay! Alright. There are actually quite a lot of equipment appearances and things once you actually get there. Okay, glyphs. You buy glyphs once you get to level 20 in these circular areas on the map right here. The collegiums. Now, the Collegium Arcane is the one for the magical classes. Priest, Mystic, Sorcerer, I guess that's about it. Yes, indeed. Alright. There's a trainer here for each of the classes as well, and the Glyph Master. So, glyphs. There are various types of glyphs for various types of skills. So there's a Glyph of Brilliance, let's say. The Glyph of Brilliance, you can buy it for Flaming Barrage, which is that skill I showed you where I hit multiple enemies with those fireballs. Or I could buy one, say, for Magma Bomb. And the Glyph of Brilliance, whatever you apply it to, will decrease the mana cost of that skill. Basically, you apply glyphs to various skills, and they give that skill bonuses. So this is just a flat-out damage. Glyphs of Power are often a little more rare, kind of expensive. And that's for Arcane Pulse, which is actually kind of awesome. That's that big orb that I can charge up. Glyph of Spirit for mana infusion. La-da-da. Let's see, Glyphs of Energy, cooldown decrease for Teleport Jaunt would actually be really nice, because that's a really good dodge skill. I'm going to buy that. You can buy all of them you want and apply all of them you want, but you can't use all of them at the same time. And I'll explain that in a minute. And here, I can actually, if I chain Ice Needle to Arcane Pulse, that means that if I use this glyph, it will then increase the damage by the Ice Needle when I use it in the chain by a full quarter, which is pretty significant. So these actually help guide you through proper chains as well. So let's see here. I like the Glyphs of Energy. Those are nice. Cooldowns are one of my banes as a sorcerer because I've got a ton of mana and mana regeneration. So cooldowns are the main thing in the way of me destroying dudes. Mind Blast after Ice Needle. That's an odd thing. Mind Blast puts enemies to sleep. Whiff of the Blossom. Periodic damage. Persistence. 30% chance to eliminate cooldown. Oh my. Magma Bomb is one of your use all the time skills. Oh yeah, and these get very expensive, very high level. All kinds of skills that I obviously don't have yet. So I'm just going to buy that. Right. No, don't sell it. Right click it to apply it. But I can't be on my horsey. There we go. I've now learned that glyph. I have another glyph. I don't think I can learn it that yet. Yeah, it's a Glyph of Brilliance for Fire Blast, which I definitely want that skill, and I'll probably be using that. So, glyphs, here's how they work. All these little circles here, as you can see, this means they're unglyphed, meaning I have no glyphs available for them. If they're orange, that means I know a glyph for them, but it's not activated. And if they're green, that means they have at least one activated glyph on them. So, glyphs. I love the word glyph. These are all the ones that I have. I've got one for Fireball, which increases its range, because it's actually kind of short range at first. This applies to all of the tiers of the skills, so any Fireball glyph will work. Doesn't matter if it's Fireball 1 or Fireball 7. I had the Energetic for Ice Needle because I use it a lot. It's very powerful, and the decrease in cooldown is nice. And also the Empowerment glyph on Flame Pillar because it does a lot of damage very quickly. The Blossoming for Pain Blast because it's basically like a poison, it's a dot, so nice damage over time increase. And now the Energetic for Teleport Jaunt, which I'd really like to equip. Thing is, am I willing to get rid of one of these? Now here's how this works. You have points. You start with 10 at level 20, and then every level after that you gain one. So I have 14 right now, being level 24. Each of these, as you can see, these little numbers, it takes a certain amount. So this one takes 5, and if I want this, it takes 3. So would I be willing to get the... Yeah, I would actually. I'd be willing to unglyph my Fireball to then have the Energetic Teleport Jaunt. Decreased cooldown. Bam. Let's save it. Oh, whoops. Nope. Save it to that template there and apply it. I guess I don't actually need to apply it because it's already applied. So there we go. Now, when I look down here at my Teleport Jaunt, it says Energetic now, and the cooldown is decreased by almost 2 seconds, which is pretty good. That's a really good dodge skill. I have 2 dodges that I use. I have that, which can dodge me in any direction I'm facing, and Glacial Retreat, which throws me backwards, and it does a small amount of damage, actually not too small now that it's Glacial Retreat 2, and decreases the movement speed of my target significantly, so it looks something like that. Oh yeah, having an 11-second cooldown on that is nice. Okay. What we are going to do... What's this Popolion place? Cool thing is, I can click this and find out. I'm guessing that's another... Oh, wow. That's some big stuff. There's one you can see. It has the bonus. You see it says at +3 unidentified effect. And the actual sleeves I have right now, it says at +3 increase your crit rate by 2. So that's the whole enchantment thing. So if I enchant it all the way up to +9, I'll have +4 crit rate and 2 impact factor on it. As well as the defense and balance being higher than normal. Now, this has unidentified effect. This is basically like an unidentified item in an ARPG. You have to use what's essentially a scroll of identify on it. You use one, and it will remove the enigma from the item, which means I can now see what that effect is. So I might purchase one if I see how expensive they are. For right now, we're going to go to the Griffin Master, which is essentially a flight point, and see where we should go. Because showing you a little more of the zones of this game, and a little more of the combat, I feel is a really good way to get a good impression of it. So I'll be demounted again here. Alright, crafting, I guess I might as well say, is very grindy in this game, and kind of expensive. But, you definitely can do it. It's basically like you would think. To craft, you go to the crafting stations here in town, you use the particular crafting thingy-majigger, and these are all the different professions. Weaponsmithing, focus crafting, leatherworking, armorsmithing, tailoring, alchemy. I'm using focus crafting and alchemy, because I'm cool. And you learn recipes by reading scrolls. These are all the recipes that I know right now. The ingredients you need, you can buy them and find them. You can buy lots of these things, most of the simpler ingredients, from people that are actually in the crafting area. And then you just make them. And you can make things en masse if you want. And they're basically tiers go by 50 for now. So like level 50, level 100, level 150, etc., etc. And the extraction, what in the world? Extraction goes for things like this. So if I want to extract these, I can put these in here. I know tier 3 extraction, and this is a tier 3 item, so I can do that. Using extraction, you can basically destroy items to obtain reagents relevant to that profession. There isn't actually a focus crafting extraction, but alchemy extraction provides materials relevant to both alchemy and focus crafting. So there we go. Let's talk to Adela. Take a flight. Alright, the starting area here is the Island of Dawn. I can go all the way around here. We've got Popolion, which I've never been to. We've got Crescentia, which I've been to, and Lumbertown, which of course you've seen. So let's go over here, just because I'm curious. I've never been here. It's only 10 silver, 10.5 silver, so let's freaking go. It's not actually too difficult to make money in this game. Crafting is expensive, though, which also means that crafted items are valuable. So if you do want to get into crafting, it'll be a bit of a grind and a bit of a steep price to get into it, but after that, you can really start making bank if you know what to make. And the exchange system, which is of course like the auction house of this game, shows you very clearly what the prices are. You don't even have to look up the item if you want. You can just right-click an item and it'll say the average price that it's going for right now, and you can just quick list it for that if you want. So even if you don't want to do market research, if you want to just mass list a whole bunch of items, then you can do that. So let's see, let's go through the list here. Questing, definitely a weak point of the game as far as just normal questing goes. There are some fairly interesting moments in the story, I gotta say, with some of the factions and characters. The zone quests are your fairly generic, kind of lead you through the zone, kill lots of mobs, gather lots of items, that kind of thing. This is also freaking awesome looking. The dungeons appear to be all fairly unique and challenging. The boss battles are very interesting. They're very large bosses. They're a lot of things called BAMs, big-ass monsters. That's actually what they're called in-game. They are like your crazy big elites and things like that. They're huge. They have big tails for their abilities, but they have lots of abilities. You're not going to solo them, you know. You can do all kinds of stuff, and when it comes to fighting them, they're very interesting monster designs and abilities. So that's something to look out for. Also, someone's name is Kawaii, which makes me kind of sad. Anyway, this place is a little desolate looking, to say the least, though I like this flight pad thing. Griffin landing pads are apparently like arcane circles. Oh, it's oh. Alright. I have discovered Popolion. Alright. So here we are. Let's go ahead, mount up, and do this quest just to show you what this is like. Obviously, the red quests are your story quests, and yellow would be like zone quests. So, here we go! This is zone quest I can pick up here. These are the Popori, the best race in the game. Fangs of a Dilemma. Yeah. Alright. That's just the quest that will start to lead you around the place. So, circle the wagons. Yes, I'm the Federation agent. Vampire blood magic, that sounds cool. Alright. Find him to the camp, and we're gonna be led around the zone. This game doesn't necessarily hold your hand, but it does do the standard kind of lead you around zones thing. So we're gonna talk to this guy at the gate, and he's gonna tell us sort of our first stop outside of this town. Sulking inky saber-tooths, huh? And there's where they are. Alright, guess I gotta kill some of those. Yeah, one moment. Let's minimize all my Bastion of Lock things for now, because those aren't really relevant. Okay, so I've got to kill saber-tooths and get their fangs. As you can see, very standard WoW style quest. But it is cool because I can click on them and you see these orange clusters here that tells me on the map where they are in these zones. So, if I do that, I'm guessing that red name means it's aggressive if I just walk up to it. Yes, that appears to be the case. Actually, doesn't that mean it's kind of like a rare... Ah! Wow. Knocked me down. What a jerk! Ooh, that's a new-looking resource node. I've never seen red ones like that. I'm gonna have to go gather that! After I kill all the things. Okay. Gotta be a bit careful. That didn't work at all. There we go. We're gonna dot up that warthog there, because it's kind of being a jerk. There we go, and do a ton of damage with this. So, even the battle interface is very slick. You've got all of the buffs and debuffs on your enemy here, and yours are going to be here. You can actually find out a lot of information just by alting really quick and just sort of spazzing about the screen. Ooh, that's a gem. Backbiting. I'm going to guess that has something to do with attacking things from behind. I know I'm a genius, but... attacking from the rear. Whoa, that's actually a pretty big increase in damage. Alright. Let's kill this saber-tooth. Because I want to gather your node, sir. Wait. Oh, that's the wrong button I pressed. Oh, he got out of it, didn't he? I'm just going to cancel it. I was going to put him to sleep and then charge up a full arcane pulse at him, but that's okay. Hey, man. That is not okay. Alright, we got him, though. Not a problem. Bing. Experience. What are you? Essence of Wind. Oh, I don't remember them being red. I remember them being blue. Maybe it's just the style for the zone. That's possible. Alright. Looks like they pulled, like, all the saber-tooths? Saber cats? So I'll take this one from you. If you don't mind. Dot it up. Get back. And it can actually be pretty satisfying to try to kill things without taking too much damage by dodging all around and things like that. The whole teleport jaunt thing is a very useful skill to have. And there are other cool dash and avoidance abilities that all of the classes have. The classes are each actually pretty unique when it comes to identifying themselves individually. They're all... Whoa, hello. They're all different. Of course, you still have tank, healer, DPS, kind of Holy Trinity stuff, but it's represented differently in this game when it comes to the style of the class. Like, paladins, warriors, barbarians, that kind of stuff, that doesn't really exist. I mean, the world of Tera is certainly hyper-stylized. That's one word for it. One word for it, even. And that extends to the story, the world, the races, the visuals, the classes, everything. So the visual style of the game, it's kind of a feast, and since it applies to quite literally every part of the game, that makes it interestingly enjoyable. You can go to sleep now. Charge up a big attack, and have it! Boom! If I can get a crit on that orb, it does just silly damage. I really want that Fire Blast ability. Leveling isn't too difficult. Questing will level you up fairly quickly. Running dungeons seems to be pretty lucrative when it comes to levels. I don't know for sure because I never completed the Bastion yet because I haven't actually tried to get into it yet. I'm not going to do that on video because that would be kind of silly. And overall, I like Tera. I think that it's got some serious potential for a lot of people to just dip into for a minute now that it's free to play and see if they like it, because the game being so stylized and so balls, that third one might just be the end of me. Being so stylized and different, it turned a lot of people away because you also had to pay to try it. Now that you don't, well, go ahead, really, just try it. It won't hurt. It shouldn't, at least. Take a nap. Whew. These things are actually kind of tough. Alright. They are my level, so that should be expected. Now, don't be turned off too much from the Asian MMO style of the game. It is grindy. It is a bit grindy. The questing is a bit generic, but those two things, I feel, are about the only really bad things, except for the design of the characters, that I have to say, and that's kind of subjective, so I'm not going to hold that against everyone. Just don't play an Elm, they're freaking creepy. But really, though, if that's really all I can say bad about the game and it's free to try, just try it out. It's not that big of a deal now that it's free to try, and free to play, as far as the model goes, is actually pretty good for this, and I'll show you that as soon as I kill this last saber. Ow! Tooth. I'm not doing so well. Usually I'm dodging around much more. Well, I really would like to stop getting hit. Thank you! There we go. Get my item drops. And I can turn this quest in now. Obviously I turned it in at the new area that I am to go to. And the list, or the cycle of questing goes on. But first I'm going to gather this, because I am a magical individual. There we go. Cliffs of Insanity. There are teleportation points that you can discover in all of these areas as well, so traveling doesn't have to take long, because the world is actually quite large and varied, and actually pretty beautiful in my opinion. Also prancing horses. And travel can be done in a variety of ways, so you don't have to worry about that. Welcome to Camp Vigilance, where there's a panda. Fangs of a Dilemma. Alright, completed. Agoraphobia. Okay. Right. I can do that. So again, as you can tell, kind of generic quest. I've just got to kill stuff. Bring me a shrubbery. I've got to get berries. And this guy wants me to kill some other saber-tooths and get their fur. So, I mean, that's standard stuff. The story quests do get varied. You go to instances, you defend people, you go to sort of battleground areas and things like that. You fight bosses, and that's where a lot of the fun is, outside of dungeons and exploration of new zones. So that is something I will say that I dislike. The questing is a little bit bland, and the leveling can be a bit slow at times, kind of grindy. Crafting is very grindy, and well, it's just, I wish the questing was a bit more inspired. However, that hasn't stopped a lot of people from playing WoW, and it didn't stop me from enjoying Final Fantasy XI a lot, even though the quests in there weren't amazing either, except for some of the other story stuff, early on at least. So yeah, the combat's fun. It's great. It's very pretty. The visual stylings are interesting, to say the least. The skills and classes are actually very fun. It's good to party with people because there's so much variety there. The zones that you'll go into are memorable because of how cool they look. And I'm having quite a bit of fun with it. I mean, I've got some problems with it. It's not a perfect game, but there's really no such thing, first of all. And I don't see a reason not to give it a try. I mean, it's free right now, so just try it. I'll put a link in the description because I am magical, and I'll probably be going now, I suppose. Got some chocolate, some roses. It's pretty freaking grand. I hope this was a good enough look at the game. This is the first of many. As I said, I'm going to be doing more videos soon on Vindictus, on, let's see, what else am I going to be doing? Definitely Vindictus, probably Dragon's Nest as well, and some other stuff like that, because the market's getting saturated with MMOs again. As it was when WoW was super popular, it's now getting very saturated with these more action-y style of free-to-play MMOs. And that could be daunting to sort through. So I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to show you some of the good ones, some of the good and bad points about them, and then you can decide whether or not you think it's worth your time. So this has been Tera Rising. Again, I will link you to the site. And before I go, I need to show you the business model of the game and show you that it's actually not that bad. As far as free-to-play goes. That's a very, very important part of a free-to-play MMO. Is it really free-to-play? So here we go. Valkian Outfitters. This is the shop. EMP is the currency, the premium currency. I'm not sure how expensive EMP actually is. Okay. It appears to be about 100 per dollar, but you get a bonus. So the $10 tier is 1100, the $20 tier is 2420, all the way up to $100, giving you 13,200. So that would make this beach party bundle really expensive. Holy crap. It's like 80 bucks for that. Alright. But yeah, the things you can buy, interesting looking mounts. That's pretty cool. All of the mounts, that's got a movement speed of 280. And my current mount, the one you just get, has a movement speed of 240. So it's actually not that much faster. Sleipnir. Hope it has multiple legs. Yeah, it doesn't appear as if you actually get a huge bonus by doing that. Consumables, experience boost. You can get up to 100% experience boost for a day. You can also find these in these strong boxes. And you can get strongbox keys for about $1 a piece. You can also get them in-game. You can buy them with real money from the exchange. Or not real money, with gold from the exchange. Right now, they're actually about 100 gold a piece, though. And you can get a stack of 50 of the things for not that much. Not too much. Less than 30 bucks. You can get dyes. All your standard, like, character stuff, you know. Make yourself look different. But none of this stuff has stats, which is good. Also, Ellen suits, because people are freaking weird. You got the different boxes. You've got services. And you've got the whole Elite thing. Now, Elite is basically you subscribe. You pay a subscription, you're called Elite. You get keys per month and things like that. But again, having EMP and being able to buy stuff, as you can very clearly see from that, it doesn't make you better. It doesn't give you power. It makes you look different. It gives you convenience, but overall, it's not like I can hop on there and buy the best gear and go dungeon romping and destroy people in PvP or whatever. I can't. And that's the way it should be. So, finally, this has been Tera Rising. And I guess I'll see you guys next time on, more than likely, Vindictus.